मास्क म्हणजे
मी खालती करून मास्क चालेल ना ते काढून ठेव
नाही ते व्हिडिओ दिसताना थोडं शॉर्ट दिसतोय
काढून ठेवतो
गार होत असेल तर
मी एसी लावू दे
Good morning everyone. I, Dr. Sarika, welcome you all for today's session on influencing health policies, influencing change through communication. Today's speaker for the session is Dr. Samir Fadnis. Our speaker, who is associate professor at Symbiosis International Deemed University. He is public health specialist. He is MBBS and MD in social and preventive medicine. Later, he has pursued his masters in public health from Umia University, Sweden. He was associated with many reputed universities and institutes across India. He has many publications under his name in national and international journals. So, without making any ado, let me hand over to Sir. Good morning, sir. I request you all to start the session.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Samir Fadnis, and I'm thankful to Dr. Sarika for the generous introduction. So today I'm going to talk about influencing policies, influencing change through communications. I hope the my screen is visible to you. So I've shared the slide on the screen. So is it visible? Yes, students, are you able to
yes sir.
See the slide? Are you able to see it, students?
Yes, sir. The students are telling their feedback through chat.
Okay.
So
okay.
they can see. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so like this topic of health policies, we people in the health sector always are like talking in some way or the other about the health policies, and we also have this, can say, kind of a secret wish to influence health policies. Uh, it's a very legitimate, you can say, something very legitimate on the part of the people in the health sector to be in a position to influence health policies. So, but in order to influence health policies, we need to understand certain concepts. So, we need to understand the concept of health policy, and also need to understand the concept of health policy change, and communication as a major modality for health policy change. The way I'm going to do this session is like it is going to be participatory, because in the midst of this session, I'll be raising questions So because this is a topic which requires a kind of a participatory approach. We need to discuss about issues, and this kind of brief discussions will help kind of stimulate thinking about health policy and bring clarity about the concepts. So, so that is the way I'm going to go about this session. Okay, so so the first slide it will be visible on your screen is like this slide is about what do you understand by the term health policy. So like you can take 1 or 2 minutes to think about it and answer. I hope this slide is visible to you. So just take a minute to try to answer this question. What do you understand by the term health policy?
Yeah, students can type their answers in the chat box.
Okay, so can I know some of the responses to this question?
No, sir, we have not received any responses. But
okay, so like this is something which the students can kind of like think about it and try to answer afterwards. So I'll move ahead with my session. So this is a basic question, like we need to understand this term health policy. And one of the reasons why I'm posing this question is because there might be misconceptions regarding this concept of health policy. So so you can see in this particular slide. So it has tried to give a kind of a perspective on what do we mean by health policy. So according to BUES, so policy in general terms means broad statement of goals, objectives, and means that create the framework for activity. So basically what this sentence is trying to imply is that policy, if we talk about a certain policy, the implication of that policy is like it will lead to some kind of a action for that particular policy issue. And also you can pay attention to the second sentence which is given regarding policy. It may take the form of explicit written documents, but may also be implicit or unwritten. So we have to understand this point that like the policy might be the various forms a policy might be taking. It might be form of a explicit written document. So like you can recall the National Health Policy of the year 2017 of the Government of India, or you can take the example of the pharmaceutical policy of the Government of India. So all these, you can say these are examples of explicit written documents. But we should also remember at the same time that the health policy or any policy might not always be taking the form of an explicit written document. It might be implicit or unwritten. So, like for example, to take an example from our day-to-day life. So there might be a policy which is usually there in the offices that the people should be wearing formal clothing. So this kind of you can say this kind of policy doesn't take can say it might not be in the written form, but it is something that is implicit, something that is understood. So I hope this point about the various forms of policy and the fact that policy might be implicit or unwritten has been driven home. So one of the, you can say, one of the major types of policy of which the health policy is a subset. It is the public policy. So health policy comes under the, you can say, the umbrella of the public policy. So what is meaning of this public policy? Public policy is whatever the governments choose to do or not to do. So like this is the way Thomas Dye has tried to define public policy, that it is about the government choosing to do or not to do about a certain policy issue. So one of the implication of this this particular definition is that it also emphasizes not doing or non-decisions as a public policy. So what I'm trying to say is that deciding not to act on a certain issue might also constitute a public policy. Like for example, if you see the regulations regarding the seat belt in the different countries of the world, there are many governments which don't have any regulations. So they have consciously decided not to decide on this particular issue related to seat belts. So that is about public policy. And as I said, public policy is a umbrella term under which comes this the focus for our session, that is the health policy. So health policy covers courses of action and inaction that affect the set of institutions, organizations, services, and funding arrangements of the healthcare system, both public and private. So this is a definition given by Buse in the year 2005. So again, you can see that this is a recurring theme on the different perspectives about policy, or about this concept of policy. That policy, if we are talking about a policy on a certain issue, the implication is there is going to be some kind of, you can say, action related to that particular policy issue, or the other way to understand, or you can say other way to comprehend this concept of policy is that it is basically about decisions with a purpose. So decisions with purpose which will which will lead to some kind of action. So I hope that this term health policy, I have brought clarity to this concept, and if any questions are there, I'll be addressing them at the end of this session. So, so basically, what we can keep in our mind if we are talking about health policy is basically they are decisions with purpose, and they are about actions on certain policy issues. Then this particular slide is talking about why we need to study health policy. So, you know, health policy and systems research in itself has become academic discipline. So there is lot of research and teaching going on this aspect of on this particular aspect, and it is like widely recognized that if we want to improve the health of the people, one of the major drivers is the health policy. So therefore that becomes one of the reasons for studying the health policy, because it will ultimately impinge on the health of the people. So the decisions related to health policy, like whether we go for a social health insurance system, or whether we go for privately funded health insurance, or whether we go for tax funded health system, whether we introduce a certain new technology, like for example, the electronic health records in our health system. So like all these decisions are basically health policy decisions, and they have a major implication for the people's health, or in other words, they have major implication for population health. And another reason we need to study the health policy is because the understanding the policy process is the key to change practice in the real world. So if we want to steer the health policy in a direction which will lead to improved population health outcomes, we need to understand how the policies are initiated, how they are formulated, how they are implemented. So basically, I'm talking about the policy process. Students, so I like to say here that if any terms or concepts are there which you are not understanding, we'll be having time at the end of this session. So I'll be answering your queries at the end of this session. So please, you can take a note of the terms or concepts you are not able to understand. So I'll explain them in the end of this session. I hope my slides are visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this slide is about the importance of the health policy. So importance of health policy is basically one of the importance is because we need to understand the interlinkage between the policies of health sector and other sectors of society. So, like we say in public health that health has multiple determinants, and it is not just the healthcare, but the determinants outside the you can say healthcare, which can have a tremendous impact on the health of the people. Like for example, a clean air, or for example, clean water, or for example, nutritious food. So the other sectors of the society, like for example, agriculture. If you talk about agriculture, or for example, the industrial sector, or for example, the regulations related to the control of polluting substances. So all these might have impact on the health of the people, and this also makes evident the interlinkage between policies of the health sector and the policies in other sector. So I'll give an example. So like for example, the policies related to the taxation of tobacco. So policies related to taxation of tobacco, it might have a major implication for the health of the people, because if the taxes are on the higher side, it has been documented that it would lead to decrease in consumption of the tobacco products. So therefore, that is this point underscores the importance of health policy, because through like understanding of the health policy, we are also able to appreciate the impact of policies in other sectors on the health policy. And also another very, can say, obvious reason for the importance of health policy is because it is about the most important decisions related to health. So decisions like how health is going to be financed in a country, what kind of new technologies are going to be adopted, how we are going to deliver health services, whether it will be through the public health care system, or whether it will be majorly to the private health care system. So all these important decisions related to health, they are under the purview of the health policy. So so these are some of the reasons because of which we can say that like we need to take account of health policy, and health policy is quite significant for the health sector. Okay, so if we talk about the policies in general, we can say that there are three types of policies: the distributive policies, regulatory policies, and the constituent policies. So the distributive or the redistributive policies are concerned with the distribution of new resources or changing the distribution of existing resources. So the classical example of the distributive or the redistributive policies are the policies related to taxation. So the can say the magnitude of the income taxes, for example, it will have major implications for the distribution of wealth in the country. So so the taxation policies are the classical example of the distributive or redistributive policies. So then another type of policy are the regulatory policy. So these are basically concerned with the control of individual and organization activities, and as persons or people working in the health sector, we are aware of the different kind of regulations uh, which guide the activities in the health sector. Like for example, regulations related to biomedical waste management, or for example, regulations related to the use of, can say, devices using the atomic energy principles. Then another type of policy are the constituent policy. So these are basically policies which are about the setting up and reorganizing institutions. Like for example, the policy related to the can say the regulatory bodies for the health professionals. So they would be example of the constituent policies. Okay, so in this particular slide, you are seeing this particular concept of health policy triangle, and you might be wondering what this health policy triangle is about, and why why you need to understand this concept. Basically, health policy triangle, it is a explanatory framework for the health policies. It helps in understanding how the health policies are made. So one of the misconceptions related to health policy is that if somebody talks about health policy, one starts about the health policy content. Like for example, if one is talking about the health policy related to financing of healthcare, they will start talking about the various modalities by which healthcare might be financed, be it the government funded health system, or be it the social health insurance, or be it the private health insurance. So all this is basically the content of health policy. I'm not saying that this is not relevant, but what I'm trying to say is that if we are talking about health policy, we should not limit just ourselves to the health policy content, because the way health policies are made and the way the health policies are implemented, they are also very can say important aspects related to health policy. They will ultimately determine the health status of the people. So we need to besides the content, we also need to understand how the health policies are made. So health policy triangle, it is a explanatory framework for health policy. It is trying to explain how the health policies are made and implemented. So so basically, you can see from this particular slide is that the four elements which constitute this health policy triangle are the context, process, content, and actors. So there is a kind of can say a major element of interconnectedness between these four elements: the actors, context, processes, and the content. Like we can take the example of the HIV policies related to HIV in the country, or we can take a specific policy related to HIV, like the policy related to the provision of the antiretroviral therapy. So if we consider this particular policy provision of the antiretroviral therapy, we will realize, or if we just try to dig a bit deeper, we will realize the can say the role played by the various actors, the contextual factors, processes, and ultimately the content. Like for example, this decision related to provision of the antiretroviral therapy under the AIDS control program. So how this decision was arrived. So the context for this decision was like it was being increasingly recognized that antiretroviral therapy, it is a major intervention for reducing the magnitude of HIV/AIDS problem in the community, and also there was, you can say, favorable developments like our country was able to manufacture the antiretroviral drugs at a cost which was quite affordable for a country like ours and also for the other developing countries. So this particular context led to and also the can say the role of various actors, policy actors like the international bodies like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the World Health Organization, UNICEF, and in our country the organizations related to the HIV/AIDS people, like the people living with HIV/AIDS, PLHA alliances. So the policy related to the provision of the antiretroviral therapy was the culmination of the interaction of this particular context and the various actors which were pushing for the provision of the antiretroviral therapy. So this is one of the way we can understand the interconnectedness of the policy actors, the context, processes, and content. Another can say another way by which the health policy triangle is important is because it underscores the importance of politics in shaping the health policy. So you might be wondering why this particular statement is there, but and like there is this like generally we understand politics as to be something that is can say that has got very, can say, a bad impression in our minds. Something to be politics is something to be stayed away from. But we need to understand the importance of politics in shaping health policy. So basically, you know, politics means like the politics means the something which is related to the government and the functioning of the government. And if we talk about health policy, it is very difficult to think about the health policy or the health sector without the role of government. So therefore, health policy is inherently political. It is majorly shaped by the decisions taken by the government. So therefore, we need to understand this particular point, that there is the importance of politics in the shaping health policy. So that is what I have to say about this particular concept of health policy triangle. And if any questions are there, I'll be happy to answer them at the end. So in this particular health policy triangle, I talked about the contextual factors. So the different contextual factors that affect policy could be the situational factors. So situational factors are basically transient factors that affect health policy. Like for example, transient factor could be like earthquake. So earthquake will lead to changing in the policies related to the the construction of healthcare facilities. Then structural factors are the social, economic, political factors which can have an impact on the health policy. Like for example, the type of economy a country is. It is going to affect the kind of health policy it would have. So the health policies are majorly different in a socialist country like Vietnam or Cuba as compared to a country with a majorly, you can say, capitalist economy like United States of America. Then there are the cultural factors. So cultural factors are basically the beliefs, norms, attitudes of the people, which can have a impact on health policy. Like for example, in order to improve the access for HIV services in certain countries of the world, because the women have a low status in society, they are only able to access the health services if they are accompanied by male members. These countries have introduced this policy of home visit for the female HIV affected persons. Exogenous factors are the factors, like the classical example could be international organizations like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations, or the Global Fund for AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria. So these organizations, they have got a major influence on the health policy of the country. So for example, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, it had a major influence on the polio eradication program of our country, and like it pushed for this polio eradication project. So that is an example of exogenous factors. So students, I have talked about the contextual factors. If you can recall this triangle, it also mentions the actors. So actors are basically the individuals, groups and organizations which can have an impact on the health policy. So what I will urge you to do is to make a list of different actors which might influence the HIV policy in the country. So please do it. So we will discuss this at the end. The different actors which influence the HIV policy in the country. So please take some time and list out the different actors which could have an impact on the policies related to HIV in our country. So I talked about the actors, the contextual factors, and next the processes of policy making. So basically, if we talk about the processes of policy making, the stages heuristic given by Sabatier and Jenkins is one of the very useful ways of understanding the policy processes. And you might notice this particular term here, stages heuristic. So you might be wondering what could be the meaning of this particular term, stages heuristic. So basically, heuristic it is a kind of a shortcut to understand a certain concept. So this stages heuristic, it is basically a kind of a simplification simplification for understanding the processes of policy making. So according to this, the stages heuristics, the processes of policy making, the different stages could be problem identification and issue recognition. Next is the policy formulation. Next is the policy implementation, and lastly the policy evaluation. So that was about the processes of policy making. Another point I want you to understand is the difference between analysis of policy and analysis for policy. So analysis of policy is different from the analysis for policy. So analysis of policy is generally retrospective and explanatory. It looks back to explore the determination of policy, whereas analysis for policy is usually prospective. It looks forward and tries to anticipate what will happen if a particular policy is introduced. So please try to understand this distinction, analysis of policy and analysis for policy. This is particularly relevant if we are talking about health policy analysis. So we need to be clear in our mind whether we are talking about analysis of policy or analysis for policy. So I'll be taking this questions at the end, like in next 5 or 10 minutes, I'll be taking the questions. So can I move ahead with my slides?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are noting down the questions of students.
Yeah.
At the end, I will come. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that is really good. I'll be answering the questions in the end.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, so this slide is talking about the strategies for health policy change. So the different strategies for health policy change, like one of the strategies could be redefining the policy action so that people support it. So like for example, we can take the example of the family planning program of the country. So, India was one of the pioneers in starting the family planning program. But you know, later on, the nomenclature of this program was changed. So it was changed from family planning to family welfare. And the underlying idea was family planning means we are not really we are not really concerned about the particular household. We are just interested in achieving our demographic goals, achieving the demographic goals by increased adoption of the various family planning methods. But it was realized that this approach was not working, and so therefore the name was changed to the family welfare program. So the underlying idea was that we family welfare program is about the we are concerned about the whole family. We are concerned about the health status of the whole family, and we are not just pushing the use of the family planning methods. So, this is one of the examples of redefining policy action so that the people might support it. Mobilizing in influential policy actors. In the today's world, there are numerous examples of different, you can say, different health issues in which important policy actors are involved. Like, for example, Amitabh Bachchan is involved in the Pulse Polio campaign. Using health communication. So this is also we need to understand, like, health communication is a very important strategy for health policy change. I'll be talking about more later. Building alliances with the new policy actors. So like in our country, one of the issues related to the health sectors is the antimicrobial drug resistance. So in order to bring about, in order to have effective policies related to the antimicrobial drug resistance, the international partners are also being roped in. So that could be example of building alliances with the new policy actors. This is the this particular slide is talking about the health communication planning steps. So as I said that communication is it is a major strategy for introducing health policy change. So how we can do effective health communication? So for that we need to understand the health communication planning steps. So the different steps could be, like, we could start with defining the overall program goal for the health communication intervention. Then we need to formulate the objectives, outcome objectives. So these are basically the kind of changes we expect in the behavioral, social or organizational sphere through the communication intervention. Next, we need to do the situation analysis and audience profile. So we need to understand the different factors which influence that particular health issue, and also we need to understand the audience profile. So what kind of demographic the audience belongs to, what kind of, you can say, what kind of attitudes the audience might have related to that particular health issue. So all this will go into understanding of the audience profile. Next, we need to formulate the communication objectives. So we need to we need to be clear in our minds what we intend to achieve through the health communication intervention. Then we need to formulate the appropriate strategies for achieving the communication objectives. For the strategies, we prepare a tactical plan for the health communication, and the major contents of the tactical plan would be the kind of messages that would be used, the channels of communication that would be used, the materials, different materials, health communication material that will be used, and the different activities that will be performed for the health communication. And lastly, we need to have a evaluation plan so that we can understand whether we were able to achieve the intended impact for the health communication intervention. So these are some of the channels of communication and the examples of the communication materials. So students, as I said, like I'll be answering the questions in the end. So I'll be answering your questions now. So you can type in your questions and I'll be answering them. So can I see the questions from the students?
Yes, sir. Just a minute. So can you see?
I'm not able. Just a minute.
So, sir, one of the students.
Yeah.
One of the.
So this is the new question. Can I see the previous questions?
Sir,
Some questions.
Yeah, so let me read out.
Yeah.
One of the students has asked, like, what is the role of information technology in designing public health policies?
Information technology, it has got a very, you can say, very significant consequence for the public health practice today, and it is also shaping the public health policies in the today's world. Like you can see that you can take the example of maternal health. So in the field of maternal health, many interventions based on information technology are being introduced. Like, for example, the use of the mHealth or the mobile health technologies for improving the antenatal care. So like that, in the today's world, there are numerous examples of the information technology shaping the various public health policies. Can I answer the next question?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, one of the students has asked about, like, how to overcome the cultural factors while implementing any health policies, like country in India.
Yeah, so this is a very, you can say, important questions before the people in public health, because cultural factors, they have got a major influence on the different health practices. So the way to go about is, like, first we need to conduct a formative research. So this formative research will help us to understand that particular cultural phenomenon in depth. Like, for example, hesitancy to accept vaccination. So what are the different ideas, values, norms, beliefs which impinge on the acceptance of or adoption of vaccination? So first we need to understand this particular aspect. So the first part is about the formative research. After conducting this formative research, we can design the appropriate interventions. It could be a health communication intervention in which we can disseminate messages which would try to have a positive impact, or which will try to impinge on the various norms, beliefs, attitudes which are influencing the adoption of vaccination in the community. So can I have the next question?
Yes, sir. So next question is, sir, can the health policy be dynamic, or does it have to be rigid, or it has to be a litigation foolproof? This question is asked by the
health policy, by its nature, it is dynamic because you know because there are many influences surrounding the health policy, and also the context for the health policy will change. So definitely, health policy is something which is dynamic, and if it is not dynamic, it is not addressing the, or you can say it is not relevant to the context in which it is operating. It will not be having the intended outcomes. So because you can say because of the this underlying nature of health policy, it is dynamic in nature.
And sir, further to this, like what are the factors responsible for changes in health policy, public health policies, or reasons for amendments in public health policies?
So if you talk about the reasons for the changes in the public health policy, basically we can talk about the contextual factors. So you know, in our country we had national health policy in the year 1983, and the underlying contextual factor was the Alma-Ata Conference of the year 1978, which gave the slogan "Health for All." Then our country came out with the health policy, national health policy of the year 2002. It was again in response to the changing context, because the kind of social, economic, cultural factors which are operating in the year 2002, it was different from the year 1983. So in order to respond to this changing context, we came out with a health policy in the year 2002. And if we go by the recent development, again in the year 2017, we have come out with a national health policy. Again, it is a response to the changing contextual factors. Like one of the major contextual factors is this call for universal healthcare given by World Health Organization. So I hope I have answered this question.
Yes, sir. Sir, there are few more queries, sir. Can we, sir? Can we take it, sir?
Yeah, we can take them.
Yes. So, sir, can anyone think of using social media like WhatsApp or Facebook for dissemination of government health policies?
Yeah, definitely. This is being done, and like in this particular context of COVID-19. So government has realized the importance of the importance of social media dissemination of information. And you know, in the today's world, social media is also used for disease surveillance. We are using Twitter and Google search for disease surveillance. So in the today's world, social media is a very, you can say, vital tool for public health.
Right, sir. And sir, the very factors responsible for changes or amendment in public health policy. So further to that, one of the student has asked can these changes be challenged in a court of law?
Changes in the health policy, you mean to say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It will depend on the particular health policy. If a health policy, you can say, has you can say it has got legal origins, or you can say it is related to the you can say the legal system of the country. Then it can be challenged in the court of law. But you know, the health policies are not always formal. There might be health policies which are, you can say, which are informal. Which are informal. They don't take explicit shape. So for those kind of policies, we can't think in the terms of a legal challenge.
Thank you, sir. Sir, and the last question of this session is what is the impact of recent pandemic on the present national health policy?
Impact of the pandemic on
national health policy.
Impact of pandemic on the policies related to health sector in the country. So you know, there are, you can say, in the there are, you can say, numerous examples of how the current pandemic has led to kind of initiation and implementation of the policies related to health sector. Like, for example, policies related to the this new vaccine. Then there are policies related to the you can say policies related to the giving protection to the health financial protection to the health workers. I mean to say the insurance for the health workers. So like that, you can say in the current pandemic, there are numerous instances of this particular context giving rise to health policy proposals and their implementations.
Thank you, sir. I hope we have taken all the queries, and sir has answered all the queries satisfactorily. So thank you, sir, for joining this session, and thank you for your valuable time. Here I declare, sir, the session is over. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you everybody.
Thank you, sir.